Sergio Perez says that not even Lewis Hamilton could survive next to Max Verstappen at Red Bull, with the Mexican describing his former role as a very difficult one, where you constantly adapt to the Dutchman's needs. Perez left Red Bull at the end of 2024, following a difficult final season at Milton Keynes, with the squad choosing to settle his contract rather than continue on for another 2 campaigns into 2026. But while Checo's replacements in Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda have both struggled, the Mexican says no driver can survive in that role, with the car requiring a very unique driving style. Mercedes brand ambassador Esteban Gutiérrez says the final 4 races, starting with Brazil this weekend, will be a micro-championship for both McLaren drivers and Red Bull's Max Verstappen. Just 36 points separates the top 3 in the drivers' standings, and just 1 between new leader Lando Norris and his McLaren teammate Oscar Piastri. And ex-Grand Prix driver Gutiérrez told official podcast F1 Nation that the intensity is about to go through the roof.
It's going to be a 4-race micro-championship, very high intense. And this is why the sport is fascinating, because the level of detail and level of experiment on what every driver is probably going through right now, from the emotional perspective, from the physical perspective, their preparation and so on, everything is going to be exposed in these last 4 races.
Ex-F1 driver Felipe Massa faces another weight on his quest to become the rightful 2008 world champion, following last week's hearing in London, with judgment on whether the matter will go to trial to be handed down at a future date. Massa is seeking justice and $82 million in damages from F1, the FIA, and former Supremo Bernie Ecclestone over the 2008 Singapore Grand Prix, which was fixed by Renault, but not investigated in the same year when the result could have been cancelled or amended. A move that would have made Massa world champion, given he finished the season just 1 point behind title winner McLaren's Lewis Hamilton. Massa's argument is based on a 2023 interview with Ecclestone, in which he stated F1's power brokers wanted to protect the sport and save it from a huge scandal. The Brit has since distanced himself from the remarks. But lawyers for the defendants, in their bid to have the case thrown out, said Massa instead lost the Singapore race and, as a result, the 2008 title, as he performed very poorly. These declarations treat the court as a sports debating club, asking it to embark upon a counterfactual exercise concerning the refereeing of a sporting event which took place nearly 17 years ago, said Mr. Ecclestone's lawyer, David Quest, KC. French squad Alpine is set to retain Argentine Franco Colapinto for 2026, ending months of speculation over its lineup, with news expected ahead of this weekend's Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Williams loaned Colapinto to Alpine early this year as reserve driver, but the French squad promoted him from Imola, and he is now set to be re-signed into F1's new era, though the contract's duration is unclear. Colapinto, who has huge commercial and fan backing from Argentina, has kept his teammate Pierre Gasly honest across their 14 races together, with the 22-year-old going 5-9 in qualifying and 6-8 in races. Though Colapinto is the only driver on the current grid yet to score a point. The news will mean that Paul Aron will likely remain reserve, though he last raced in 2024 when he finished 3rd in F2. Williams team principal James Vowles says the squad will secure 5th in the Constructors' Championship for its highest placing since 2017, as long as it continues to deliver on track. The British squad is comfortably 5th, with no hope of chasing Red Bull in 4th, and has a 39-point gap to Racing Bulls in 6th, one it will maintain as long as it bounces back from its Mexico non-score. With Vowles focused on getting 2 cars into the top 10 at all 4 races left to run, starting with Brazil's sprint weekend, with rain expected on the Saturday, though there's challenges further ahead.
Las Vegas, I think, will be a very good event for us, and that's all about maximising the potential of the car. going through into Qatar, where I think actually we could struggle a little bit more, but that's a good learning lesson. We have to be competitive at tracks like that going forward into 2026. So we'll try a different setup direction to achieve it. And then finally into Abu Dhabi, where I think you'll find the field is probably the closest it's ever been all year. And again, that's about clean execution down to the millisecond.
Aston Martin has named Jack Crawford as its third driver for 2026, with the American making a step up from the development driver role he's enjoyed since 2024 after leaving Red Bull's program. Crawford, who races in F2, is currently second in the standings for DAMS, 19 points behind feeder series leader Leonardo Fornaroli, with 2 rounds to go in Qatar and Abu Dhabi. Crawford will take on the reserve role at all races next year, with chances for more FP1 sessions, adding to the one he completed for Aston Martin at the last Grand Prix in Mexico. He's already completed more than 2,000 kilometers in F1 machinery, along with countless more in the simulator. Ex-Red Bull driver Daniel Ricciardo may no longer be on the grid, but the 36-year-old will never need to work again, with the Australian's net worth freshly reported to be almost $130 million. The estimated figure, an increase of $5 million on 2024, was calculated by business publication The Australian Financial Review for its Young Rich list of Australians under 40 that put him only 35th overall. Ricciardo's fortune is well down on Australia's top sports owner, NBA star Ben Simmons, who last played for the LA Clippers, with more than $170 million to his name. McLaren star Oscar Piastri made his debut on the list at 56th place overall, with $80 million banked across 3 seasons. F1's governing body, the FIA, ended speculation over the team's 2024 cost cap compliance with news that all was in order, with the sole exception, a very minor procedural breach from Aston Martin. The paddock had been rumbling with rumors that financial breaches had been found given the lateness of the FIA's news, but in the end none had, with Aston Martin within the cost cap, but notching up a procedural breach that was reported to have originated by unpredictable circumstances. The Green Team has since entered into an accepted breach agreement, or ABA, with the FIA to resolve the issue. Two-time world champion Mika Hakkinen has opened up on his past decision to retire from F1, one made during his sabbatical year in 2002, with the Flying Finn admitting it only took a few months. Häkkinen stormed to back-to-back world titles with McLaren in 1998 and 1999, but chose to take a break from the sport at the end of 2001, just as Ferrari's dream team was getting into its golden run. And he told official podcast Beyond the Grid that his thoughts at the time pointed to what he needed to do.
It didn't take too long time. It didn't take too many months, but I realized there's no way I can go back. My mind is thinking about the danger. My mind is thinking about accidents. And again, my accident came back to my mind. What about if it happens again? And I was just purely thinking about life outside of the motor racing.
Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.